you would not believe that there are tremendous amount of opportunities that are emerging with technology. For example, one of the biggest areas that are emerging is if you take machine learning. I think skills are changing and digitization is quite rapid. Um, and there are so many opportunities. So, for example, you are mentioning that you have picked up a niche area, for example, on data analysis or skills for the EV industry. They are emerging areas, and that skilling is happening and learning is happening. You are a leader today in whatever space that you are influencing. Look, we're all stories, right? Like uh, you're doing something beautiful with IHHPET. Is that what all of you are calling yourself? I
Yes, sir.
So you have taken leadership, and today you have in a very niche space, in a very niche sector, you're bringing transformational changes. So much as that, I think it's very important to hone leadership skills. To all the young people there, the bright young people, um, I do not think there's a disadvantage being in tier 2, tier 3 cities. You have your own unique strengths that other regions cannot.
Hello everyone, I am Swati and welcome to the Talk with Industry Expert podcast by Industries Helping Hands. This podcast is very special because today we are having a very special dynamic leader, Mr. Prasad Menon, Chief People Officer of a unicorn company, Amagi Corporation. अक्सर ना आप लोगों के बहुत सारे सवाल ऐसे हम तक आते थे, जैसे आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के क्या आ जाने से डेटा एनालिस्ट, डेटा साइंटिस्ट, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इंजीनियर्स की जॉब खतरे में है। कुछ सवाल ऐसे होते थे कि मैं तो नॉन आईटी बैकग्राउंड से बिलोंग करता या बिलोंग करती हूं, तो क्या मैं अपने करियर को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकता या कर सकती हूं डेटा एनालिस्ट, डेटा साइंटिस्ट की तरफ। कुछ लोगों का ये कहना होता था हमारे रिज्यूमे में ईयर गैप है, तो क्या हम अपना स्किल सेट को अक्वायर करके इस फील्ड में करियर बना सकते हैं। कुछ लोग ये जानना चाहते थे कि इंटरव्यू में इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज का कितना इंपॉर्टेंस होता है। तो कुछ सवाल ऐसे भी होते थे कि क्या हम अपने करियर को हमने सेल्स की जॉब में, मार्केटिंग की जॉब में, बीपीओ या कोई भी ऐसे नॉन आईटी बैकग्राउंड में हमने 5 साल 6 साल दे दिए, क्या अब हम इस डेटा एनालिस्ट, डेटा साइंटिस्ट की फील्ड में ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं। तो कुछ लोगों का ये सवाल होता था कि मेरी एज तो 35 है या 40 है, तो भी क्या हम इस फील्ड में करियर बना सकते हैं। मैं जानती हूं ऐसे ढेरों सवाल शायद आपके भी मन में होंगे, और जब हम तैयारी करते हैं तो ऐसे सवालों का आना लाजमी है। लेकिन हमें लगता है कि काश कोई ऐसा होता जो मेरे इन सारे सवालों का जवाब दे देता, जो कि कंपनी में लीडर भी होता। तो आज का ये पॉडकास्ट इसीलिए स्पेशल है क्योंकि ये सारे सवालों के जवाब को देने के लिए इस पॉडकास्ट में हमारे स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं मिस्टर प्रसाद मेनन सर, जिन्होंने 20 इयर्स से ज्यादा दिया है इंडस्ट्री में और सर्व किया है एज अ एचआर लीडर। Right now, he is working in the Amagi Corporation, which is one of the finest unicorn company of India. उन्होंने अपने करियर में फ्लिपकार्ट, क्लियरट्रिप, मैकेफी और अमागी जैसे कंपनीज में अपनी सर्विसेज दिए हैं। और आज के इस पॉडकास्ट में इन सारे के सारे सवालों पे हम बातचीत करेंगे डायरेक्टली प्रसाद मेनन सर से। सो दिस पॉडकास्ट इज वेरी स्पेशल अगर आप वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल हैं या फिर फ्रेशर हैं या फिर कॉलेज स्टूडेंट हैं, तो सभी के लिए ये पॉडकास्ट स्पेशल है। क्योंकि अगर हमें कोई स्किल सेट सीखना है और अगर हमें इस रैपिडली चेंजिंग टेक्नोलॉजिकल एरा में खुद को अपडेटेड रखना है, तो जरूरी है कि स्किल सेट को हम सीखें, और सीखा तभी जा सकता है जब पता हो कि इस डायरेक्शन को फॉलो करना है। तो ये पॉडकास्ट आपके लिए एक गाइड, एक डायरेक्शन की तरह है। सो शुरू करते हैं इस पॉडकास्ट को। And today we are going to have our special guest, Mr. Prasad Menon Sir. So firstly, a very warm welcome to all the viewers who are watching right now. And when this podcast will be uploaded, I am sure that this podcast will definitely going to help most of the learners, especially from the tier 2 and 3 cities, because we are having our very special guest on this session, Prasad Menon Sir, Chief People Officer at Amagi. He is having a diverse experience of 20 years plus in the industry, and he's an amazing leader. And it is an honor for us to have you on our podcast, sir. So thank you so much for joining, sir.
No, thank you. I'm not an amazing leader. I'm just another person who's just had a few years more. But thank you for the invite, and I'm happy to be on board.
So basically, I would like to inform all the viewers and the learners who will watch this conversation when it will get uploaded, So, Prasad sir is basically the one. When I was having the conversation with him, within a second, he told that his aim is just to contribute towards the society. And despite having so many roles and responsibilities in the CXO position, whether it's in the Flipkart, Amagi, Cleartrip, etc., he served the society. When it was the time of COVID, he stand out and he served the society. When we are talking about the organic farming, he came up with the idea about give prakriti, and there are so many other initiatives in which he are helping the society. And today he is there in this podcast because he would like to guide the students. So my first question is that, sir, right now the technology is rapidly transforming. So what are the skills that is needed right now in this digital age, so that students will learn these things and it will be helpful for them in making their career?
No, so thank you. I think, see, skills are changing and digitization is quite rapid. Um, and there are so many opportunities. So, for example, you are mentioning that, you've picked up a niche area, for example, on data analysis or skills for the EV industry. They are emerging areas, and that skilling is happening and learning is happening. Now, what you have as a knowledge is, I'm a mechanical engineer, basically. I've never done my MBA. And if I go back, I'm still passionate about automobiles. I think what is important is the knowledge that you have, the skill that you made, be it data analyst or be it, in the EV area, that is like your content. And for a truck to reach its destination, this is a mechanical engineer talking, it requires two things. It requires the content and the truck to reach the destination. So that truck is your application. And that application is what you should also pay attention, not just the skilling. Now, what are some of those applications that stand out? Definitely is communication skills. I think it's very important to continuously hone your communication skill, ensure that it is presentable. Communication skill is also about listening skills. A lot of times people focus on what to say. I think one of the focus people should also spend is what to listen for. What is the other person trying to say? Understand that and then respond to that meaningfully, with the right emotion, with the right empathy, with the right stress. So that is an art that cannot be picked up and that needs to be practiced. So I can go and say that even in a little story to share is that, I came up, I was born and brought up in Kalpak. My father used to work for the Atomic Power Center, and that whole place was like a little mini India while it was in Tamil Nadu. So your upbringing was with a diverse section of people. I remember that the language just appealed to me. I remember I was like a little child. I had a very bad bout of chicken pox as well, and I was in a bed. I couldn't move, and because it was a contagious disease, I was pretty much isolated in the place. And every day I used to open the dictionary, take 10 words, understand the meaning of that word, use that word, write a sentence. So by the time I finished my chicken pox, I had this whole vocabulary of information, and then I started using them. But what the crux I'm trying to tell is that you have to put your intent and passion towards it. And when you apply that, it picks up. I think the other thing that's very important to pick up is problem solving skills. The world is increasingly becoming curious. There are new areas that are emerging. I think while AI and ML, all that is bringing a lot of productivity, the niche area that human beings still stand out is to look for what is the kind of problems and what's an approach to solving that problem. And so keeping your mind to problem solving skills is another very, very key aspect. It gives you that kind of an edge. So stay curious, and very important to think about problem solving. Some of the soft aspects which are important is how to be a good team player. And especially when it comes to tier 2, tier 3 cities. See, our life is all about exposure. The more you have exposure, the more you take the initiative to go out of your comfort zone. the more you will learn. I'll give you an example. If I travel, when I travel to any place, any country. I'll Let's say I travel to Egypt. I'll come out of that hotel room in Egypt. What I'll always do is I'll go to the local market, I'll go to the local museum, I will try to understand their history, I will mingle with the local people, and that leaves me with tremendous amount of perspectives, which I'll never get sitting out of a hotel room. I can be comfortable in a hotel room, but you have to treat your life as an adventure. The normal tendency is, suppose we go to a new place, we'll see who speaks my language. Oh, we've gone abroad. Okay, this place, two more Indians. I'm so happy to meet two more Indians there. And soon we will be talking about everything in India that we never talked about in our own country. We'll have more patriotism outside the country. But fundamentally, we have to realize that we tend to be very comfortable there. It's important for us to understand that slightly go outside your cohort of people, mix with other people there, understand their tradition and culture, blend into them, appreciate that. Your learning will be far more. So you need to be a team player with the ability to work with diverse cross section of people from different kinds of places. So today the world is connected, so you don't need to really travel much as this, that we are sitting where you are and I'm sitting where I am. We are having this interaction on a spontaneity. It is easy for anybody to take that initiative and talk to different people, collaborate on projects, and you build that very, very important skills that makes you a great team player. That's what organizations look for. Last but not the least, you need to couple of other attributes is everybody's a leader. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is a skill. Your ability to influence, your ability to have planning skills, organizing skills, your ability to think the big picture, break it down, work with a group of people through influence, bring in change. All these aspects are leadership skills. So today, everybody is in a situational leader, and you have to start honing that leadership skills. Leadership is not going to, gone are those days where people are thinking that, you have to have X amount of years of experience, you have to have a certain title. Today, everybody, I believe, irrespective of the number of years, can actually emerge as a leader. And the situation will demand that. So that's, again, another area to think, and think that you are a leader today in whatever space that you're influencing. Look, we're all stories, right? Like, you're doing something beautiful with IHHPET. Is that what all of you are calling yourself?
Yes, sir.
So you have taken leadership, and today you have, in a very niche space, in a very niche sector, you're bringing transformational changes. So much as that, I think it's very important to hone leadership skills. Keep that curiosity, like I mentioned. When I started, I was a campus recruitee into Ashok Leyland. And we were a batch of about 20 engineers that were hired from all over India. It was a 1-year training program. And about 6 months after that, they had this complete greenfield opportunity at the group level. And they asked whether I would be interested in doing it with their management development center. And I said, I will do it. So my first job and my first boss was Major General Surjit Singh. He was a double IIT, AVSM, VSM, a fantastic person. So, and it was completely different from anything that I had done. Because I did not have a foundational base in HR, and I had to take this mission with Ashok Leyland. I was asking questions. I had a handicap, right? I didn't have the foundational base. So I was asking constantly questions, trying to understand. And that one single skill of asking questions, staying curious, has remained with me even today. And that's a very, very important skill to keep, just curiosity. The beautiful thing about curiosity, if I look back now after 25 years, is it's not a bad thing that I didn't do my MBA. Because sometimes what systems teach you is limitations. Systems sometimes teach you that this cannot be done. This has this limitation. And when you're ignorant, you can only do two things. You have two extremes. One is you're ignorant. So you can either fail, or you're not stopped by what other people told you as limitations. So that's a attribute to have. So I think keeping that curiosity and learning is very, very key. Technology is going to change, but keeping that learning streak is extremely important, because otherwise that is the single thing that will keep you relevant eternally and not die down when something like a technology or a space or a sector or a domain changes.
So basically, sir, I completely agree with this point. But curiosity is something that is very much important right now. But when I was having the discussion, like I am going to meet you, so there are a few students also who have sent me their question, and there is one question that most of the student is having in their mind, basically because most of the students belong to the tier 2, 3 cities, the rural India basically. They are having the idea about the skill set, but when it comes to the language, like English, Hindi, we can see that sort of discrimination. They're lacking in confidence just because in the interviews they are not able to communicate well in the English. So, sir, what are your advices to them so that they can have such sort of confidence that, okay, right now in today's era, scores is okay, but skill is something that matters the most?
See, unfortunately, I've seen this and I'm saying this as well, right? You can be as brilliant as possible, but you need language to translate all that knowledge into a communication and outcome, and make sure that I'm understood, I'm heard. And that only happens through language. You can even pick up a subject overnight. You cannot pick up a language overnight. Language comes through practice. But the good part about language is it is not a rocket science either. The more you practice the language, the more you master it. So what happens with language is the time to prepare for language is not at the time where I think I'm going to go for an interview. It has to be much ahead. Now, what happens in tier 2, tier 3 cities is the general, and we have to, there are changes that we need to bring even at a systematic level, right? The general way that we get up and go to bed, everything is usually in the native language. We may read the subject in English, but it's in their native language. We converse with our friends in native language. We converse with everybody else in native language. What happens then is you're not practicing this at all. Reading is one part. So you have to give spaces and you have to create a group of people, if it is a class or anything, saying that, look, it is not possible. If you have to learn this as a language and it is an important skill, we need to practice. So I'm just suggesting that, for people to use cohort groups to practice the language. Today with technology, there are multiple portals where you can actually communicate through language. You could have an AI system or a chat bot there or a speech bot there. How you pronounce, everything is right out in the open. Use them. Take time to spend systematically in a day, 1 to 2 hours. I'm going to do this. Speak to different other people, other than people that you are used to waking up in your locality, in your place, right? That's why the diversity, embracing diversity is very, very important. And you learn through that. You communicate through that. And there are small things that are important. Now, if I'm giving an interview through this video, for example, I wasn't prepared. So I can tell you that this is not the background. But it matters on simple things like how should the camera face you? Where is the light of the camera? How should you present yourself? How should you look? What kind of a background? Every little thing, even visually, matters. Because the art of communication is not language alone. It is language, body language, visual language, your appearance, your emotion, your everything, conscious and subconscious, come into play. So you need to put yourself in an environment where it'll be a most uncomfortable zones when you begin with. And you have to take it one step and say that, how am I looking? Practice in front of a mirror, inside your room. Even if I have to give a presentation, even today, I may come and I went to LPU last. I just came back from Amritsar. I took a masterclass session last Saturday at LPU. But believe me, even today, I may deliver that 1 hour of masterclass. But I can tell you that 2 nights before, 3 nights before, it's not the presentation, the words in the presentation. I would have written down what I need to speak in every slide. I would constantly think about it. I will think about it from the shoes of the kind of audience, what will make them curious, what will connect, where can I add a bit of humor? Because there are different things that helps to make connections. You can get an idea across, but you can also get a relationship across. You can get trust across. All that happens through language. Um, so yeah, the important part to recognize is there is no fast way to master it through a book. It has to be practiced. It's pretty much like cycling, right? If I give you a book and tell you how to cycle, you will not become a cyclist. You have to get up on that pedal. You're going to feel very uncomfortable. You're going to fall 2, 3 times perhaps, maybe get a little hurt. It's okay. But once you get on the joy of cycling, and that becomes, you learn something called as balance, then, rest is about taking that as a passion. So pretty much like that, my advice to all of you, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, all of you have resilience, great values. You have humility inbuilt in each of you. You have simplicity, which are great characteristics. Please work on your language much earlier. And that singular thing can bring tremendous amount of opportunity in today's world, because everybody has an equal opportunity in today's world. You really have that equal opportunity. Knowing that language is a key area. There is no two ways but to make it your life for your success.
Definitely. And sir, there is one more question that our learners is sent. So right now, sir, we have seen the mass layoffs also these days, and most of the people, especially from those backgrounds like sales, BPO centers, so these are the people who are right now rapidly transforming their career towards data science, data analytics skills. And most of them are basically the housewives as well. Some of them who worked in the plants, machinery plants for like last 5 years, and right now they are transforming their career into this fields, like which are basically the IT domain. So, sir, they are having the questions in their mind. We are from a completely different background. We are having the year gap as well. So, is that right now the industry will accept them? So, this is basically the question, sir. So, we would like to hear from you. What is your opinion on it for those people who are transforming their careers right now in this rapidly changing era of AI?
See, you would not believe that there are tremendous amount of opportunities that are emerging with technology. For example, one of the biggest areas that are emerging is, if you take machine learning, there is actually back-end BPO work on just training the ML. Suppose you take a rose flower. One of the work is actually taking different attributes of rose flowers and uploading it so that the ML can get trained. Only when you train an ML, the ML can be effective. But to train an ML, you need a human connection, and that's a tremendous opportunity. I'm picking up one area, and that area does not necessarily require somebody to. Their age is not a barrier. It's all the skills that you require on detail. Being personally organized, having detailing. So age or anything, and you have to be tech savvy to that extent. Not high-end tech savviness. From there is tremendous opportunity across the spectrum of going and coding all the way to, right? So all this, the biggest advantage in many of these areas is most of the work is more appealing to be done in actually tier 2, tier 3 cities, because the cost of infrastructure and the cost of talent in metros are far higher than tier 2, tier 3 cities. So there is a huge wave that is happening across the country, across tier 2, tier 3 cities, where right in your neighborhood or right where you're sitting from your home, you can actually take on a lot of variety of work that gives you a balance of flexibility, age no bar. But again, right, your mindset to reach out and present yourself when that opportunity comes is the singular area that one must focus. So there are a lot of opportunities coming, and especially these opportunities are actually coming to tier 2, tier 3 cities. There's a huge emergence because metros are saturated. Cost of doing business in metros outweigh the overall cost of value proposition that you can do in a process-centric function. And they all are opportunities for people to do it, be it their housewives, they're coming back back from a career, or they're beginning a late career. Irrespective of the situations, these are available.
And there is one more question, sir. Basically, you are the people's leader. 20 years plus of you are having a diverse experience, hiring from a fresher to a CXO level people. You have all gone through it. So there is one more question, sir. When you are on the other side of the table and you have to hire someone, what are the key qualities that you have seen in their behavior in just 30 or 20 minutes of conversation that you are having with the candidates? So what sort of things that you observe in their behavior?
Yeah, so that's a great question. See, one is I have not given too much of weightage to a number of years, like I told you earlier itself. And I didn't come from a conventional background myself. Therefore, what I look for is some of the things that I mentioned. One is, I think I look for fire and spark and enthusiasm. The positive enthusiasm is very infectious. People with can-do attitude. And if I give and I look for problem-solving areas as well. Sometimes, a lot of times, when people have a lot of experience, the first thing that they would have done it repeatedly is it's like a cookie cutter approach. If you take a problem, they will have a formula, and they think that formula will work everywhere. It doesn't work everywhere. It hardly works in that case, but they are conditioned to using that formula only, and they can't think really outside that formula. So problem-solving skills, can-do attitude, great teamwork, enthusiasm to learn, and joy at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're all going to work together. Most of the people in my team are far more capable than I am. They are more skilled than I am. I'm very average compared to most of them. But ultimately, when all of us put together, we together bring different kinds of skill, because nobody can be a master of everything sometimes. So instead of celebrating weaknesses, I believe in celebrating strengths. So I look for, okay, this person's strength is this. And in my team, I require that particular skill. This person will complement that skill set when I put everything together. So I look for that skill in that person, and that skill, that person should have mastery. The rest, I don't, rest is all about, attitude, humility, ability to learn, cultural fitment, and having this whole passion about building something big. So I think these are the main attributes that I look for. And as an organization, when we hire, culture is a very, very important element. Like Amagi has a culture, so did the places that we work. So, and it's more bearing for more senior leaders in the organization than rest of the people. So checking for cultural fitment is extremely essential. And ensuring that the person may be skilled, may be bright, may be intelligent, but if the person is not syncing with your culture, and that check, I place a lot of importance, especially when it comes to more senior people that you're hiring. Anything managers and above, all the way up to exec team, looking for cultural fitment is an extremely important step.
Thank you so much, sir. When I was in the school, I read that line, a leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And while having the conversation with you, you have clarified most of the doubts of the learners. So thank you so much once again for giving your precious time to our learners, sir.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity.